So, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Today it's Saturday, and I just want to wish a happy Easter. Happy Easter to all those who celebrate Easter. To all the Christians out there, I want to wish you guys all happy Easter. Also, happy Ramadan celebration to our Muslim brothers and sisters, and whatever celebration is out there. So, sorry for being a few minutes late. Just caught up with an emergency while driving home. So today we will be moving into our second topic. Our second topic of our Health is Wealth program. So we said in this channel, I'm happy I received a lot of feedback as to the first video, and we will be doing a couple of videos on as to Health is Wealth, right? And I did mention to you guys last time that sometime you will be having my wife come talking and about wealth, and also you'll be hearing from us in so many different aspects. And our goal is to target our immigrant communities back here in the United States or wherever you find yourself around the world. Health is Wealth. As you are out there, you're pushing out, you are looking for the dollar, you are looking for the euro, you are looking for the won in South Korea, you are looking for the yen, wherever you are. Remember, health is wealth. So you need to take care of your health. It's not all about walking, and you forget taking care of your health. If you are in South Africa, you're searching the rand, you need to take care of your health. You need to be strong to keep on looking for that dollar, looking for that rand, looking for that pounds, and looking for that euro wherever you find yourself. So today, last time we spoke about high blood. So I will talk some more for Pidgin for Umami or Papa the way they did here. Last time we talk a little bit about high blood. We say high blood is the silent killer, and I made a video on that. Today we'll move to another silent killer where you name now diabetes. Today we'll be discussing on diabetes. Diabetes is another silent killer. Why do we term them the silent killer? Because usually most of the time people will not know unless they are really down with it, either in the form of stroke, either sometimes when they have a wound and that wound is not healing, either sometimes they are diagnosed with some sort of heart condition, some sort of high blood pressure. That's when they know that they are really down, and that's why we call them the silent killer. So what is diabetes? Diabetes is when we have some sort of a high level of blood sugar. You will ask yourself that why is this very dangerous? The high level of blood sugar has caused so much damage to our immigrant communities, even back home, because having this high blood sugar, it therefore means that sometimes you may go down with some sort of heart problem, you may go down with some sort of stroke, you may go down with some sort of fainting, which sometimes you don't even recover from it, and a lot, and unfortunately I'm talking on this topic because I had a big brother that was so much dear to my heart, and I feel up to today that something should have been done as to his level of sugar, but I feel nothing was done as of when he passed away. So this is a topic that is close to my heart, and I feel I should talk about this. So diabetes is simply high blood sugar. Diabetes means that your blood sugar is higher than normal, your blood glucose. So when I talk of sugar, I'm talking of glucose. Having your glucose higher than normal, okay, it's too high. That is diabetes. That is dangerous. So in our body, we have what we know it's called the insulin, right? And that insulin is a hormone made that is produced by the part of our body that is called the pancreas. So that hormone that is produced by part of the body that's called the pancreas helps to move the sugar out of our blood. It helps to convert that sugar, excessive amount of sugar, out of our blood into your cells for energy. right? So actually sometimes we have this insulin not working at its full capacity. This insulin is not able to perform its full function, or also due to the fact that we are just consuming excessive amount of that sugar, that glucose, that our insulin cannot keep up with, right? So when this sugar builds up, glucose builds up in our blood. So sometime I'll talk about sugar to so that the layman can understand, but specifically when we talk of this sugar, this is glucose. Okay, so when you are being tested for diabetes, we test for glucose to make sure that your glucose level it's good. Okay, so when I talk of sugar in blood is for our layman to understand. Okay, so now when we have in our body the insulin, and what is the function of the insulin? The insulin is there to convert the blood sugar, the blood glucose, into the form that could be used up by our cells, right? So in some cases this insulin is depleted. In some cases there is no sufficient amount of this insulin. In some cases we just consume excessive amount of this glucose that our insulin cannot meet up with. And we're gonna talk a little bit how this diabetes gets to unfold. Okay, so another thing that I would like to talk about on diabetes is some sort of a disease that has affected our community disproportionately, right? So I'm targeting our immigrant community, but let's look at back in the United States. Diabetes is something that has some sort of due to a lot of research happening out there. It has been found that there have been some sort of racial imbalance when it comes to people that have diabetes. Okay, and in terms of ethnic minorities. So and when we talk of racials, we know our immigrant communities here, especially the African Americans right there, a lot of them go down with this condition of diabetes, and that is due to sometimes our eating habits. It plays a role. It's due to the fact that sometimes we don't even go for our routine checkup. It's also due to the fact that we don't exercise. Okay, it's also due to the fact that we consume excessive amount of alcohol, especially our beer. I want to talk about that because that is affecting my community, the Cameroonian communities, and other communities that are out there. Okay, so when you consume this in excess and you don't exercise, where do you expect that sugar, that excessive amount of sugar, to be found, to be gotten rid of? How do you expect it to be gotten rid of when you don't exercise? So that is something that we'll be talking about. Okay, so that diabetes is due to excessive amount of glucose in your blood, and that again is dangerous. So what are some of the signs and symptoms? That could cause someone to think that you may be diabetic, or maybe your blood glucose is higher, maybe your blood sugar is higher than normal? For example, we have increased thirst and urination. So if you are up to certain age, so when I'm talking of that, it doesn't mean children will not have diabetes. We have congenital diabetes, whereby children may be born with some sort of genetic condition that may affect their insulin production, and that could cause them to develop diabetes at their very early age. Okay, and that is what we mean by congenital, some sort of dealing with hereditary. You taking that from your parents, or passing that from one offspring to another. So what are some of the signs and symptoms of diabetes? Increased thirst and urination. So you are urinating frequently than normal. You urinate a lot. You are constantly feeling thirst. You want to constantly drink water, you want to drink something, you want to drink juice, you want to drink something a lot. You are thirsty, and at the same time you are urinating more than normal. That should tell you maybe something is happening. Okay, again, one sign or symptom does not tell you have diabetes, but if that is happening frequently, why don't you go to your doctor for checkup? Okay, increased hunger Okay, increase hunger. You feel like just eating all the time. We call that eating within your meals. You just eat all the time, consuming excessive amount of sugar, eating bread, eating a lot of candies, eating all the time. That can be some sort of another sign or symptoms telling you what is happening. Fatigue. You just feel tired. You eat or you just sit there. You are not flexible. Okay, so again, that are some signs of diabetes right there. Sometimes excessive amount of glucose buildup could lead to blur vision. When we talk of blur vision, what do we mean? It's like you are not able to see someone standing far away from you, or you cannot see clearly. Your vision is blurred, right? So when you notice that happening to you, you want to check up what is happening right there, because we also have excessive sugar that could lead to some sort of blindness. Okay, blindness. Okay, blindness. Excessive sugar buildup could lead to blindness. Okay, so when that blur vision is happening right there, that is it stepping in. So you need to go for checkup. You need to go and check up right there. We also have sores that do not heal. Okay, so in our community, sometimes we have people that maybe when they have a little cut, a little wound right there, the wound does not heal. That wound is difficult to heal. You ask yourself, what is happening? The body has been made in such a way that once you get a cut, if nothing is happening, the body is in a healthy way, right? That body is able to regenerate the cells to heal the wound. But if you have a wound and that wound is not healing, we have some fluid oozing out of it, you want to ask yourself, what is happening? What is happening? You need to go for checkup. Your wound is meant to be healed, but if that wound is not healing, it may be due to excess amount of glucose, excess amount of sugar in you, and that is not letting your wound heal. So you want to go for checkup. Okay, unexplained weight loss. Sometimes you just go down with weight loss, excessive amount of weight loss. You cannot explain. You are not doing some sort of exercise. You are not on diet, right? But you are just losing some weight. Today you get your weight and it says maybe 150. Tomorrow is 140. The next day is 130. Excessive weight loss. You cannot account for that weight. Please go for checkup. Remember, as I said, it doesn't mean that when each of this is happening, it doesn't mean that it's necessary diabetes, but it's a call of concern, and diabetes is one of the call of concern that you will be tested for when you present this side. We also have numbness or tingling in the feet or hands. So when you feel some sort of numbness in your feet, when we talk of numbness, what do we mean? Like someone touching your feet and you are not feeling it, right? Someone touching your feet, you are not feeling anything. Tickling in the feet or hands, right? And someone like touching underneath your sole, and you are not really feeling the impact. There is numbness right there. That could be some sort of signs. Okay, we also have some signs. Sometimes you look at someone, you have like the person is just swelling up. You have some sort of swelling around the body. Those are other signs that you need to check up. Diabetes is also a silent killer within our community. And why are we saying this? Because most of the time, people who have this sugar building up every day, they don't know. In our communities and where we come from, people are not used to going for their routine checkup. And I'm advising everyone watching this video, please make it a duty that each year you want to go for your routine checkup. If not once but twice, at least 6 months. Go and get your blood work done. Go for your physicals. Make sure that whatever is happening in there is good. Remember, health is worth. Don't be out there looking for the money, building all the assets right there, but you don't build the assets that is building that asset for you. You need to, that asset is your body. That asset is your health. You need to build that up. You need to take care of it. You need to take care of it. Okay, so that is what we are talking about. So what are some of the signs? Just in summary: increased thirst or urination, increased hunger, you feel like eating all the time, fatigue, tiredness, you're sitting right there, you are just eating and drinking a lot, urinating a lot, but you don't feel active, you just feel fatigue, you just feel tired. Blur vision, excessive amount of glucose in your blood could lead to blur vision, and that could lead to blindness. Okay, blindness. One of the effects of diabetes is blindness. Okay, you also have sores that does not heal easily. You have a wound, that wound cannot easily heal. Please, you want to check for your sugar. Unexplained weight loss. You're losing a lot of weight, but you cannot account for. You are not doing any exercise. You are not on any diet, but you are just losing that weight. You need to check. Okay, we have numbness or tickling in the feet or hands. You need to go ahead and check that. Make sure everything is good right there. Okay, there are two types of diabetes that we need to know. Okay, so today we just want to talk about what is diabetes, what are some of the signs and symptoms of diabetes. I've mentioned that, and what are the different kind of diagnosis, different type of diabetes that are out there. We have the type 1 diabetes. Okay, so what is type 1 diabetes? It happens when your body does not make insulin. It does not make sufficient amount of insulin. It does not make insulin. Okay, because your immune system attacks and destroys the cells that make insulin. So sometimes we have some sort of autoimmune diseases. And what is an autoimmune disease or condition? Sometimes our immune system tends to attack our own body cells. And let's say we said the insulin is produced by the part of our body that is called the pancreas. So if for some sort of condition, our own immune system is attacking the cells of the pancreas, which therefore means that it's destroying those cells, what would that lead to? It would lead to insufficient amount of insulin production. It may lead to no insulin being produced. And if no insulin is being produced in our body, what does that mean? It therefore means that our body will not be able to convert the sugar in our blood to the cells that can be used for energy, and that sugar is just gonna build up in our blood, and that is diabetes right there happening. Okay, so although it can appear at any age, okay, type 1 diabetes is usually diagnosed in children and young adults. Remember I said sometimes what could be happening? It could be congenital. Autoimmune disease could be congenital. You may inherit that from your parents. You may be born with it. Okay, remember I said at the beginning that it doesn't mean that children cannot suffer from diabetes. All the signs and symptoms that I listed right here, as a parent you need to check in your children as well. As in the immigrant communities right here, sometimes we don't control what our children eat. Our children go out there, they just eat all the junk that is out there, right? We are now in a tendency whereby, oh, our children don't eat our food anymore. Oh, they want to eat the pizzas. I'm not saying pizza is not healthy, but excessive consumption of all of this. They want to eat the burger out there. You don't know how long that has been stored. You don't know how long the pizza has been frozen for, and they just eat excessive amount without it being balanced. They go out there, they consume excessive amount of sodas right there. So our children can also suffer from this. So if your child some sort of inherit this, right, and as a parent, maybe you are diabetes and you look at your lineage, maybe your own parents were diabetes, that should be a call of concern within your children. You need to start monitoring what they eat, because if your father or mom was diabetes and that came down to you, and now why are you not concerned about your your children? They could be predisposed of. Okay, so again, we want to make sure we look at that. So type 1 diabetes could be diagnosed in children, and it could be diagnosed in young adults. Okay, and type 1 diabetes is as a result of your body not producing insulin at all, or not producing sufficient amount of insulin. It could stem as a result of a congenital condition, whereby it may come as a result of an autoimmune condition. Your body fighting its own body cells. Destroying the cells of the pancreas will mean that insulin is not being produced, and that insulin functions by converting the excess glucose in your blood into the storable form of sugar in the cells that could be used for energy, and that could be happening in children or in young adults. Okay, we also have a condition of type 2 diabetes. Happens when your body does not make or use insulin well. So type 2 diabetes could come as a result of your body does not make or use insulin very well. It is usually diagnosed in adults. So mostly type 1 diabetes will be in children and young adults, right? It means that I explained that it could come as a result of a congenital condition, autoimmune disease, your body attacking its own body cells, which therefore means that there is no sufficient amount of insulin to convert the blood sugar, the glucose in your blood. Okay, and we also have the type 2 diabetes. This type 2 diabetes is diagnosed mostly in adults. This occurs when their body does not make or use insulin well. So the insulin is there, but your body does not use it very well. The insulin could not be there because your body does not even make insulin. When we talk of the body now, we're talking precisely the pancreas, right? So it does not make that well. So again, one to look at that. Okay. Some factors that may put you at high risk for type 2 diabetes include, so now as adults, what are some of the factors that may predispose you to type 2 diabetes? What are some of the factors that may predispose you to type 2 diabetes? We have said type 2 diabetes is mostly within adults. So what are some of these factors that could predispose you to type 2 diabetes? First, being 45 years or older. So it doesn't mean that in your 30s you cannot be diagnosed with that. But as we get older, what happens? Our body cells are also getting older. The cells of the pancreas are also getting older. That therefore means that those cells of the pancreas will not be able to produce sufficient amount of insulin as they used to produce when you were young. That is why as we get older, we need to be mindful of what we eat. We need to be mindful of the amount of exercise we get on a day or on a weekly basis. We need to be mindful of what we eat as well. That should be a concern for you as you get older. Being 45 years or older makes you vulnerable to type 2 diabetes. Okay, so it doesn't mean that in your 30s and in your 20s you cannot have it. You can have it as well, but again, 40 you're already at risk because of the fact that the cells are getting older, and you need to be mindful of what you eat, and you need to be mindful of the amount of exercise you are doing right there. Not being physically active, right? You just eat, you just concentrate in walking, you get home, you're tired, you just sleep, you are not active. That predisposes you, it exposes you to type 2 diabetes. You need to be active. You need to be accountable to some sort of active exercise in at least a day, okay, or in a week. Take some time up to do some exercise. Take some time up to be active. In our community today, let's say in Cameroon back home, we used to walk for a couple of miles, on a daily basis, to go for work, or we're engaged in hard work. We are engaged with so many things happening. But right here in the United States, even the least distance that people have, they want to get into a car. They don't. There's no way like people walking again. Okay, people do not walk any longer. So that is already a cause of concern. People do not walk around. So again, you need to be active. Having a family history of diabetes. Look at your family. Did your grandparents have diabetes? If they did, that should be a cause of concern. Did your parents have diabetes? If they did, that should be a cause of concern. And what age did they have that? That should be a cause of concern for you. And you have to look at that and say, oh, you know what? This is something that it could be hereditary. And you need to monitor your health, do some activity, exercise a lot, be active. Don't be just dormant right there, consuming, just walking without taking off time to exercise. A lot of people will say, oh, I'm going to work, I'm doing all this, I'm doing a lot of work. No, create some time off to do some exercise. Just walking a long distance in a day is very healthy. Okay, sometimes you want to look at the distance that you drive, and if that distance is not that long, why don't you walk? Why don't you trek? Right? Okay, getting out to the park right there and do some trekking is very helpful. So you want to look at your family history. Okay, also ever having gestational diabetes. What is gestational diabetes right there? So sometimes we want to be sure you know as as women, sometimes as our wives are pregnant, sometimes they may have what is called gestational diabetes. There is diabetes that sometimes is within the period of pregnancy, and that is one of the diabetes, that is one of the condition that is being looked at during pregnancy, especially within our women when once they are pregnant. Sometimes due to pregnancy, our women may not be able to produce sufficient amount of insulin, maybe, or sometimes even when the insulin is produced, it is not able to meet up with the level of sugar. Okay, so just being pregnant is already enough, already a lot. It's a lot happening in your system getting to adapt right there. So there's also that risk of gestational diabetes that could predisposes you to diabetes. So you have diabetes when you are pregnant, and if that is the case with all your children, having gestational diabetes with all your children, that tells you that you may be at risk of having diabetes even when you are not pregnant. So that should be a call of concern. Okay, so this diabetes is something that we will continue to talk about on. So today we want to keep our video within 30 minutes. So today we have spoken a lot about what is diabetes. Diabetes is that excessive amount of sugar in your blood. That is very dangerous, and we know that we have two types of diabetes: type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes is diagnosed mostly within our children and young adults. In this case, our children, the body do not produce sufficient amount of insulin, or not at all, and that could be as a result of congenital. They are born with a defect in such a way that their pancreas cannot produce enough insulin to convert that glucose in their body to the form that the cells can use for energy. Okay, we have type 2 diabetes. That is within our adults like me and people even 45 years and older, right? So that is as a result of your body not being able to manage its insulin, or not producing sufficient amount of insulin, or not even managing that. Okay, and we have said what predisposes you to diabetes. Okay, being 45 years or older, please, you need to be mindful of the level of sugar. You need to be mindful of what you eat. Okay, watchful for that. Not being physically active, you need to be active. That is very helpful. Having a family history of diabetes. Look at your lineage. Has there been some cases of diabetes in your family? That should be a call of concern for you as you get older, and you need to be mindful of what you eat again. Having gestational diabetes during your pregnancy periods. So if you are pregnant and each time you are pregnant you have some sort of gestational diabetes, that is a call of concern for you. It therefore means that even when you're not pregnant, you could still develop diabetes. So that should be a call of concern. Okay, so that is what we have been looking at today. So today we have talked a lot on diabetes, and tomorrow or the days to come, we're making some video as to how diabetes is diagnosed. When is someone pre-diabetic? When is someone diabetic? And what should be done at that level. Okay, remember, whatever we do here is advising our community. And if you feel that you have any of these signs and symptoms, what are some of the signs and symptoms of diabetes that I spoke of? Frequent urination and you feel a lot of thirst. Okay, frequent urination and you feel a lot, you have thirst, you want to just drink something. Okay. We also have excessive consumption of food. You just want to eat. Blur vision. We talk of blur vision, not being able to see clearly. That should be a call of concern. If you have a wound and that wound is not healing, and it's just oozing water, it stays for long without healing, that should be a call of concern for you. Okay, and all these are some of the signs and symptoms of diabetes, and we need to check. Diabetes is one of our silent killer. It's affecting our communities a lot. So our next video will be as to how is diabetes diagnosed, and when diabetes is diagnosed, what do you need to do? Are there some medication out there to help you? Are there some changes in habit that could help you? What can you do to help yourself once you have been diagnosed with diabetes, or your pre-diabetes. Thank you guys so much for the video, for listening today. And as you listen, please share. Thank you so much. And if you have any question, put them in the comment section and I will be responding to those questions. This is a forum for you guys all. This is a learning forum. Health is worth. And as we go out there, we look for the dollar, we look for the euro, we look for the pounds. Remember, you need to be in good health to look for all of those. Please don't forget to watch the other video we produce on high blood, and please share as you watch. Thank you guys so much and have a great day.